I just got back from E3. It's like a mini E3. PAX. It's called PAX. It's like a mini E3 for indie companies. I say mini, but it's actually a very large convention. Every year I go in search of my most anticipated game of that year. I also try to see and meet a whole bunch of new people. It's a fun time. This year, there was a whole lot of cool stuff that I got to try out. Most of it is games. Some of it, there's like a little tinge of hardware there. If you've never seen a video like this before, there's a bunch of Steam games and a lot of them have demos that you can just try for yourself right now. But these are all games that I like, and I like a bunch of retro-styled platformers. So you're gonna see a lot of that. Maybe some other stuff, but mostly that. And most of them have demos available that you can just go and try for free right now. So you don't even have to listen to me, you could just go click and try them for free. Sometimes those demos are just a little bit different than the PAX demo that I got to try. But the point is, you don't even have to go to PAX. You could just go try it for yourself right now at home. You could just download the demo and play it right after watching this video. Every PAX, the goal is the same. I want to try a bunch of stuff that hasn't come out yet. It's kind of like a mini E3. A lot of that stuff happens to be indie games. This year, there's a couple of hardware things that I'm looking forward to that also aren't out yet. The very first thing is, hey, remember that company that got sued by Nintendo for leaking the design of the Switch 2 early? Go pay them a visit. I have a bit of a history with Genki. They made a third-party Nintendo Switch dock, and everybody knows how I feel about those. They made a capture card that allowed you to play Nintendo Switch games on your computer. I hated it. But years later, I've actually grown to love the newer versions, not for playing games, but for capturing camera footage. I'm using it right now to see myself. They also have a pretty good bag that I've been using. I also brought it on this trip. So I've grown to like some of their stuff quite a bit. They have a ton of stuff for the Nintendo Switch 2 now. And that stuff went a little bit viral and got them in a little bit of trouble. And that happened just days before PAX. So the stuff that they had there was a little legally distinct. I appreciate the big disclaimer. Must be fresh off the copier. The attack vector is like their premium live-in case for the Switch 2, with interchangeable grips and detachable Joy-Con. The Force Field 2 is like a cheaper, minimalist Switch 2 live-in case. They both have a MagSafe adapter on the back for a USB-C charger to attach to. They also both support docking. How quickly did you make this model with the hole cut out?
There was a lot of weekend work.
A little bit of late nights with that one.
A lot of late nights.
They did not seem to be in the mood for my little goofs. I took a little Polaroid with them, and I usually sign my name with a little Mario, but to avoid any future conflicts, they got a Sonic. I did get an opportunity to play with the Switch 2, though, because Nintendo Prime was just standing right there at the booth with a replica.
You just pull them.
That's sick.
Yeah. I'm like, man, what a really cool model.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I know.
It does look exactly like
I know,
how
literally.
it does in real life.
And I sat there, I'm like, maybe it's good I didn't go to the Switch 2 experience. I'm gonna try to swap it out.
And now I can say that I saw the Nintendo Switch 2 at PAX. Thanks, Nintendo Prime. Moving on, we should probably get to some games as quickly as possible because that's probably why you're here, to see some games. Demon Tides was the very first game that I saw at PAX. This is also one that I was very excited to see and kept telling people about afterwards. This is a 3D platformer that combines a lot of the movement mechanics from both 3D Mario and 3D Sonic games. You have your double and triple jump and your side flip from Mario 64. But you also have rail grinding and a sort of mid-air boost dash from Sonic Adventure 2. There are way more weird traversal mechanics in the game. You can turn into a snake and a bat thing and all that stuff. It makes for some pretty complex platforming. And the open world is clearly inspired by Bowser's Fury.
You trust that what would it, is it called a tripod?
Oh, what's wrong with my tripod?
Tell me a little bit about it first. So basically, Demon Tides has essentially two core pillars. The first core pillar is, we call it an expressive platformer. Kind of a subgenre we're trying to push, where the idea is with how many different ways can you cross the same gap, right? And that's kind of done by the moveset having so many combinatorial options that you can kind of choose to do it one way or another, and the level design accommodates for that. The second pillar is all about it being open world, and so like having this huge open ocean allows us to give you both the idea of exploration and open space, but also still allows us to have very designed challenges because we can focus on individual islands and locations.
You got it running on 2 Steam Decks.
Yes.
What inspired you to want to make it run on that specifically?
Because I mostly play PC games on Steam Deck.
So you're a fan of Steam Deck,
Huge fan.
It's very cool to see a game combining all of the mechanics from games that I love. Demon Tides comes out sometime in 2025, and it has a demo out right now on Steam that you can try. So the only like AAA game that I even saw at PAX was Elden Ring Nightreign. I was telling everybody that this was the only game confirmed for Nintendo Switch that was at PAX, and that's not true at all. This game is not confirmed for Nintendo Switch 2 at all. I was thinking a regular old Elden Ring.
So I got an appointment to play the new Elden Ring. It's in that dome over there. And I didn't realize this, but the way it works is you can wait online to play the game, but you don't actually get to play the game. You just get ushered into the room, and then they pick a random person from the audience, and they pair you up with an Elden Ring influencer. I'm one of the Elden Ring I've never played Elden Ring before in my life. And I'm gonna have to play it in front of a room full of people that wish they could be playing it. Wish me luck, everybody.
I was not, in fact, the Elden Ring influencer. They picked someone else.
Now that I think about it, why did I assume I was the Elden Ring influencer? I didn't play. I just watched someone else play for an hour.
Which is like, fine. I definitely don't deserve to play the game over anybody else that was in that room. But then, why was I there then? I could have just watched the footage at home later.
I'm not an Elden Ring guy. I've never played it before in my life, outside of the Junkfood Arcade booth with a weird controller. But I'm excited for this one, mostly because I like the idea of playing with other people, but watching it, the pace is a lot faster. The traversal is way better. So I'm going to enjoy that a lot more. It reminds me a lot of this game that I played, Naraka Blade Point. That is PvP, so you're playing against other people. But it looks like they might have taken cues from that. There's these like runes you pick up that give you abilities throughout the game. There's a grappling hook, which I'm pretty sure is not in Elden Ring. That seems straight ripped from Naraka Blade Point. And it seems like you're timed. So that and the fact that the game constantly changes every time you play, it makes me want to play this one a lot more than Elden Ring ever enticed me to play. Also, it'll probably be good on a handheld.
So Elden Ring Nightreign comes out pretty soon, May 29th. And it's only going to be $40 at launch. Sadly, there's no demo though, although there was a network test about a few weeks ago. So I guess that counts. Next, I had an appointment to play this awesome game called Love Eternal, but I couldn't find the booth. All the booths at PAX have booth numbers, but in order to find them, you need the app. My internet was horrible, so I tried to get on the convention Wi-Fi, but that's always dodgy. On public Wi-Fi, you never know who's around trying to capitalize on your vulnerable network. Hey, it's me. I'm trying to capitalize on your vulnerable network. I also have COVID-19. That's where this video sponsor comes in, Surfshark. VPNs like Surfshark can help you change your location so that you can access content that might otherwise be blocked in your country. VPNs can also help you encrypt your data so that nobody can see what you're doing. Not anybody on the public Wi-Fi, not even your ISP at home. Surfshark 1 gets you their VPN, private web search, data leak alerts, and their antivirus. There's no risk to trying Surfshark, and they offer a free 30-day money-back guarantee. So head on over to surfshark.com/den and use code DEN to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN.
No, he's blocking me. What am I gonna do now?
Hey, you there, let me see your badge. I think I can't taste anymore. Okay, so Love Eternal might have been my game of the show. It's a horror game with a very intricate 2D retro pixel art style. But it's a platformer similar to Celeste or VVV. You can flip gravity once per jump unless you get these little gems. Just like Celeste, each area is confined to a screen. And like Celeste, or maybe even Super Meat Boy, there are some very forgiving checkpoints that get you right back into the action. I love these types of games. But this one has interesting narrative elements that get slotted in throughout the gameplay that will hopefully entice you to want to play more. I hear this game is only about 4 hours long, which I think is a positive. I'll be way more motivated to see it through if it's shorter like that. It is coming out sometime later this year, and unfortunately, it doesn't have a demo. It might never even have a demo because the game's only 4 hours. I swear there are more games with demos. I, for some reason, front-loaded this video with games that don't have demos. Here's one, Altered Alma. I didn't actually play this one at the show. They were there, but they didn't have any appointments that really fit my schedule. But I saw they had a Steam demo, so I just downloaded it and played it at home. This is a really cool Metroidvania / dating sim. The demo is extremely short. I beat it in like 20 minutes. It could even be shorter if you just mash your way through the dialogue. The interesting part to me was the mechanics. Aside from the usual jumping and slashing and parrying, you can throw a red knife that you can then warp to. This is used both in combat and also to traverse some platforming puzzles. The demo also includes a pretty sick boss battle. Check out the demo on Steam now, but the release date is just coming soon, so who knows. I was interested in this next game because of its retro art style. You can tell that I like retro games. This one looks like an N64 or a PS1 game. Airframe Ultra is a futuristic racing game / vehicular battle arena. You race to a battle arena, do battle, then you race to the next battle arena and rinse and repeat. You can kick enemies or shoot them with a gun if you acquire one. You ride around on hover bikes, but the bikes are very floaty, kind of like Wave Race. They are also very fast, and there is a lot of stuff in this busy world. So you will constantly crash into stuff, and it is not easy to get back on track. It's a brutally hard game. Apparently, right at the end, I came in second. I don't know how that happened. I thought for sure I was doing the worst. I'm pretty sure this game is only multiplayer. There currently is a demo, but I believe it's only couch co-op. If you want to play online, there are quarterly demos available, so you'll have to keep up with them to see when that happens. Check it out for yourself. I'd personally like to play the tutorial or something to try to nail down how to play this game a little better. It's listed as just coming soon. While I was at PAX, I had to stop by to see my friends over at Junkfood Arcade. They're the ones that made the Snackbox microcontroller that I made a video on years ago. I also used that controller to turn my Nintendo Switch and my Lenovo Legion Go into a laptop type thing before I changed the Lenovo Legion Go to use my own little controller inside of it. Anyway, they have a new leverless controller, which I guess actually has 2 levers in it. This is the Swirl, and I'm sure it looks really bizarre if you haven't seen it already, but let me explain it. There's WASD keys on one side for like D-pad type movement. There's also all your face and shoulder buttons on the right-hand side of the controller. But at the bottom, there are 2 balls. These are your thumbstick. This allows you to play full 3D games like, say, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk or Elden Ring. This, believe it or not, is the first time that I've ever played Elden Ring in my life, and it's with this controller. I like playing games at my desk with controllers like this, so I'm interested to see how I play 3D games like this. It's also gonna be good for accessibility, for people with limited movement or carpal tunnel or arthritis or any of that stuff. This might help them. I'm also interested to see how this will work with like Smash Brothers. Using a leverless controller and still having access to a right thumbstick might be game-changing. I have one coming to me and it should get to me within a few weeks, but who knows when the hell I'm gonna be able to make a video on that. You got the Lenovo Legion Go S coming out, you got the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out. I'm not gonna have a lot of time. One of the last games that I played at the show, we're already at like the last game that I played at the show, was a game called Constance. I also didn't record the whole beginning of my play session. Constance is another Metroidvania that looks an awful lot like Hollow Knight. The twist is that you have a mid-air dodge mechanic that acts a lot like Splatoon. When the Squid Kid turns into a squid and then he squids all over the place, you know that? Remember that? But it's only like for a quick second. The game is pretty difficult. I wasn't even able to beat the boss in the demo at PAX. I had to download the demo later and beat it on the train home. But it's a lot of fun. I think I'll be picking this one up when it launches Q4 of this year. But of course, you can just get the demo now. There's kinda a lot in this demo. Do you remember a little game called Cursed to Golf? It was a brutally hard 2D roguelike golfing game that I gassed up a few years ago in one of these videos. Well, Liam, the creator of that game, has a new game coming out that is absolutely nothing like Cursed to Golf. It's a linear, narrative, Tony Hawk styled game where you play a Tanuki BMXing around a colorful, cartoony Kyoto, doing chores for people in the form of mini games. I did manage to talk to Liam about his game for about 20 minutes. Here's a much shorter version of that conversation.
Do you have a mic?
Yeah, I have it.
Ooh.
All wired.
I'm Liam. I was the game director of a game called Cursed to Golf that you may have played before. I'm here with my new game, Tanuki Pon Summer.
Everybody's been explaining it as Tony Hawk or Dave Mirra, but you're a Tanuki.
Yes.
But there are a lot of missions and mini games that break the formula of doing tricks on a bike.
So ultimately, we're aiming for like 20, but
Jesus Christ.
also there are like...
That's 20 game mechanics you have to build.
I know, right? When a character says like, I'm a sumo wrestler, you're like, that's kind of cool. I wonder if I get a sumo wrestle. Most games are probably like, no, I'm just a sumo wrestler. We're like, nah, like, get in the ring.
Yeah, in Tony Hawk, the missions are all related to the skateboarding. Like you meet a person and they're like, oh, my cat's stuck in that tree. And then you have to do a kickflip over the tree.
Yeah.
But in this game, it's like, oh, I'm an ex-sumo wrestler. Let's sumo wrestle. And now you're doing a completely different game all of a sudden.
So I'm obviously not Japanese. I'm a white British man, but I have lived in Japan for 10 years. That doesn't give me like a card to say I know. But this is intentionally meant to be kind of an allegory for being a foreigner in Japan. For me, it's more of my love letter back to my home now. We were so worried about like making a game that's very thematically Japanese. They use Tanuki, which Japanese people really care about Tanuki. The Japanese gaming community and even like maybe cute animal enthusiasts really were like, this is ours. This is a representation of like our culture or our like, you know, a part of our beauty or whatever. And that's been the biggest surprise.
What do you think of how I played in my setup?
If Bob posts a photo like above my face of his setup that he sent me,
It was good on that. It worked.
it's not that I can't believe it worked. I'm just glad that you didn't come to me and was like, your game's terrible, this sucks. If you can, use a joystick, maybe a controller. We don't have PC and mouse support. As long as you have a good time for the money you pay for, or if on Game Pass you play for free, then I'm happy.
Oh, so that's confirmed.
Yeah,
Game Pass.
confirmed. Coming to Game Pass, day one.
So when is it coming out?
No idea. TBD.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, right?
That's a good guy. We like that guy. That's a game that you should wish list. I might be a little biased. I hung out with him like all weekend. That was sort of the last game that I played at the convention, which kind of sucks because that means that I didn't really play a lot of great games at the convention. I had a run to a signing that I had to do, which is the last thing that I did at the convention. And then, while I was doing the signing, a Namco rep came up to me and offered me a bunch of Pac-Man stuff. I said, no, thank you. I already have a bunch of free PR t-shirts already. I don't need any more. And then I remembered that I didn't pack a shirt for the next day. So I said, wait a second, I'll take one. I'm sorry. Out of his backpack, he pulled out a Switch with Shadow Labyrinth on it. I then proceeded to ignore my signing and played that until the con closed. This is the Pac-Man Metroidvania that is inspired by that one secret level episode where Pac-Man is spun into a weird, dark, and gritty sci-fi adventure. It also has other Namco properties in it. All I know is I fought one of the Dig Dug guys in the demo. You have a lot of really cool abilities like turning into a big demon monster and eating your enemies. There unfortunately isn't a demo available, but this game, what the hell's the name of the game again? Oh yeah, Shadow Labyrinth comes out July 17th. So that's all the games that I played at PAX, but that's not all the games in this video. When I got home, I went on Twitter and Blue Sky, and I just asked people for some games that have demos available that I should try and talk about in this video. By far the most popular submission was a game called Unbeatable. This is a rhythm game that reminds me a lot of Muse Dash, except it's all rock music and the art style is amazing. It's cartoony with these cool VHS film effects overlaid on top. It also has some RPG elements in that you can kind of walk around and discover the world between songs. And obviously the story plays a huge role in the game. The demo is available right now and it's awesome, and the full game will be released in 2025. Easy Delivery Co. is like if you took Animal Crossing and made it a weird, somber delivery game. You're thrown right into this terrible weather with your dinky little truck. I love the PS1 aesthetic here. It's physics-based, so you have to take special care when hugging corners or going too fast, or else you'll spill all of your deliveries everywhere. It's also a little bit of an RPG in that you have to sort of juggle your inventory and discover how to navigate the world. You also can't be outside of your truck in the cold for too long, or you'll freeze. There's a lot of cool elements to this one, but it's mostly just a chill vibe. Easy Delivery Co. comes out later this year, and the demo is available right now. The Big Catch reminds me of a platformer on the PS2. Something about the collectibles and the way the world is structured screams mid-2000s game design. This game is all about traversal and platforming. You can go really fast, and if you master the movement, it can feel very fluid. There's rail grinding and sand surfing on these weird little creatures. There are, in fact, a lot of weird little creatures in this game. It is also pretty damn hard. There's a decent amount packed into this demo, which is called the Big Catch Tackle Box, so check that out. There is no release date announced at this time. There were some other games that I tried this weekend, but I spared you them because they were bad. You're welcome. My highlights, by far, were Love Eternal. It was such a unique take on the genre that I love so much. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a demo. And I don't think it ever will, which kind of ruins the whole theme of this video, if I'm being honest. But also Tanuki Pond Summer, which will hopefully have a demo by the time you see this. But I might be a little biased. I did spend basically the entire weekend with that man. We got very close this weekend. I showed him my little IBS app where I track all my boobs. I had a great time trying all of these games at PAX. I also had a great time at PAX in general. I enjoyed meeting all of these people. Everybody was so nice. Everybody that I talked to, though, said that this was one of the weaker PAX, probably because it was Mother's Day weekend. I don't care. I still had a great time. And I already booked PAX next year. I also wishlisted every single one of these games. You should definitely wishlist any of the ones you think look good, because apparently that's really helpful to all these indie devs. What do you guys think about any of the games that you saw here? Are there any that other people should check out that have demos available right now on Steam? Leave it in the comments below. At me on Twitter, any and all of this other social media garbage. Thank you to everybody who came to see me at PAX. I really appreciate it. I was giving away these little PCBs that you could turn into a macro pad, or like these Game Boy cartridges that had a little bootleg game on it. If you're upset that you missed that, come next year. Also, I will be at Too Many Games in 2 months? Like a month and a half. And I'll be doing the exact same thing. I actually will have more of these PCBs because they came right when I got back. So come to that. I also did a little podcast with Bill Nerd Nest. It'll be on his channel sometime this week, I think, talking about all these games that we played and our experience and whatnot. Head over to twitch.tv/WulffDen for live streams. I do them here on Sundays usually, but I haven't in a bit because I haven't had anything to stream about. The most important thing you can do is just subscribe. Please share this video with a friend who is looking for Steam games to play. Thank you so much. Goodbye.